Hello everyone, Trepanier here. Going to quickly go through the process of rigging up a monster for Doom 3. Hopefully we can get through it without my computer crashing again. Okay, so we got ourselves the mesh here that was created by I think it's Peter86 for the Alone mod. Cancelled mod, but they released the assets, so this monster was found in the assets, pulled it out, and going to use it for this tutorial. Okay, with the mesh selected, it doesn't matter if it's selected or not, but with it selected, we'll come on over to this tab here, which is a layers tab, and I already have a layer for it, which has the My Monster mesh inside of the mesh layer. We're going to create a new layer and keep this here and add the selected objects so that the mesh stays there. So we're going to come up to this one. We'll rename this one to Bones. And what we're going to do in here with it selected is now just start making the bones for this monster. As you can see, it's the front viewport. It's facing that way. It actually faces forward inside the right viewport for it to be pointing in the right direction for Doom 3. So with that selected, I'll just freeze the mesh and F3 so we can see through it, and then I'll just start creating bones for the for the legs and whatever. So it would just be like one like that, Get rid of this last one, don't need it. And it's a little difficult to see, so I'm going to stop making bones, select this, and give it a light color. Okay. Hide the mesh again, so hopefully you can see it, but okay, so there's the bone, calf bone, and there's a heel bone, so this next one would come from the calf, connecting up to the calf, and that's the foot bone and toe bone and a nub there on the end. So that's how you just keep going, make all the different bones. Need one here, and that's called a hip bone. Hips. So with that done, I'll just pop into the mesh already rigged up inside of another file here. So we'll just open up the monster rig, and there's the rig all set up. And what it is with the bones, you can see you got all the different bones here. They're all connected up. So we'll just go through that. I'll just show you the different ones. Actually, I'll hide the mesh, and we come in here. You'll see how it's named, letter Q for the selection tool, because it's tucked over here right now. This one here is the origin. Everything connects to the origin. This has to be the very bottom or topmost, whichever way you want to look at it, bone in the hierarchy. There's a bone R toe nub. You can just watch the names over here. And then that's just toe, and then in front of toe is the one that's called foot, bone R foot, and then that comes off the calf bone. You can create the bone R foot off the calf bone. Back here is the bone R heel. Excuse me, water. This is the calf. This one is called the thigh, and up here is bone R hip. And to get this one, it's easier just to create these first and then put this in place after, and then use the bone tools. You would come up to animation, bone tools, and then in bone edit mode you can just select this and move it around. It'll stay connected here, but you can stretch it out so that it connects properly, because what you want it to do is the end of the point of this hip over here, this bone here called hips, and the bone spine 0, 0. You want all those points to be at the same place in here. And this bone hips is the parent to this one, and this one. So those three bones would be linked to this bone here. Just connecting it like that. And then up here, again, letter Q if you wanted to use that for the selection tool. You got the bone spine 0, bone spine 0, 0, 1, 0, 2. Got one up here called bone spine top. One here called the neck control. Bone head nub. Okay, and then out of the neck control, we have the right clavicle, or R clav, R shoal for shoulder. This is the up arm, low arm, hand, and hand nub. Same deal with the left side, just same thing, just with an L. And so all this connects to the hip bone, and that hip bone is then connected to the origin bone. So now when you would move the origin, everything would move with it. Okay, so that's the basic setup for a rig, but it's not complete yet. What we need to do now is also create a new layer, and this one here is going to be called master. Create one more layer. I'm going to call this one IK, and one final layer, and this one's going to be called control. So we'll work up in the IK here first. Pretty easy to do. Just select the up arm. I have it so if I right click I can just get the tool right away, HI solver, and I can connect up to the hand over here, and then if I want to you know, then it does moving for me that way. But to get to it, if you don't have it set up, to set it up like that, you do it up in customize user interface, and you can just set your different what you want for hotkeys here, or quads, so that if I want something to appear in here, when I right click out on it, it pops up in that quad box like there. But you can also get the hierarchy independent solver from up in the animations box. So we're connecting that that shoulder to the or the up arm, I should say, to the hand, and that gives you control of it using hierarchy, or using IK, I should say. Now for the legs, I'm just going to put it into perspective mode. For the legs, click the thigh, and then connect that to the heel. And then we're going to connect the foot to the toe, and then connect the toe to the toe bend with IK. And same over on the left side, thigh to the heel, and then the foot to the toe, and the toe to the toe nub. Okay. One more thing we have to do is come on down to the master here, and we're going to create a helper point object. We'll make it a box, and come to this front view, and 15 should be fine size. What is? Oh, there goes my stomach growling. I guess I'll make it bigger. 25. I always like that one to be the larger one. Then I'll right click up here, so I can right click on all of these and center that master to the 0. And that's now there, and that's looking good. So now we'll come up to the control points, to the control. We can hide the IK, and we'll leave the bones on. I can hide the origin, hide selection. Okay, turn the grid back on by letter G. Now what I will do is create some more points, and the first one I'll make will be, let's make it 12, and put it not there. We want to be working on the controls. There we go. Oh, my stomach's just going to go killer. Time to get some food in it. Okay, so we make one there. We'll call that Control R heel, and we can center it. And then I'm just gonna drag it down and make 3 more copies. Okay, and this first one, we'll make that size 10 and call it Control R foot. Next one will be a size 8. And we can call that Control R toe bend. And this next one, we'll make it a 6 and call it Control R toe. And all of them, we'll just center them up here. Okay, and now I will slide those over to here. I'll show the IK. I'll set those up with the IK. And with all of them selected, I'm going to color them a lighter color of red. And I will make a copy over to this side. Okay, and those ones I'll color a lighter shade of blue. And I'll get rid of that. Don't need that. Now, I will first just select all of these ones and hide. Come on back to the front viewport. And this big one here, the heel, we'll slide it back to there. This one, I seem to be missing one. Whoa, listen to that. Yeah, I'm missing one. So Control R. So I've got Control R toe, toe bend, foot, and heel. So where are all of them? Let's just unhide all. Yes. And we will hide the IK, hide the master, hide the mesh. We will hide that one. Let me just see. There's only 3 there. Well, okay, well, it is what it is. It's not a big deal. I'll just click on that one. Cancel. Drag you out. That'll be Control bend. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I'll call you Control foot. Make you 10. You'll be Control foot. Your Control foot bend. And your Control foot. Control R toe. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of all of these. Yeah, the IK is hidden. And come on back to the front. And I will wait for it to do whatever it's thinking it's doing. Make sure I'm on Control, and I'll turn on the IK just so I can see where to line that one up. Okay, I can turn off the IK. We color those to a light blue. And I'm going to hide those. Back to the front viewport. Okay. Now I'll turn the IK back on. And this is the Control foot. That'll slide to there. This one will be good about there. Okay, now this is the connections for it. Take this IK and connect it to the Control foot. Take this IK, control it to the toe bend. take the control foot, take this middle IK, and take the control toe bend, and connect that to the control toe, and then take the control toe and connect that to the control heel. And what that'll do is let you bend the foot that way. It'll let you bend the toe that way. Let you bend the foot like that, and this here will let you bend everything, or as it is, move it. Okay, so now it'll be the same thing for the other side. I'll just unhide all again. Yes, and I will select this like that. Hide selection. I can hide the bones. I don't need to hide the bones. We'll just go to the front viewport. Let me just save this to make sure it's not going to get lost. And these ones here, that would be called L. I suppose it's not important because they're only being used for animating, but cut down on the confusion. One more L. Okay. And now again, I can hide the bones. And this one, this IK. Right, not quite yet. Let me just move that foot in behind here. Move that back a little bit. Okay. Now this IK will connect to here. This IK connects to there. This one, and this one connects to here. And then this connects to there. And now with the bones showing, we can rotate that one, leaving the heel in place. Rotate just the toe. Rotate the foot. And rotate everything, or as it is and intended for, move everything. Good. We can turn everything back on so we can see it all. Unhide all. We'll come to the front view. We can hide the mesh, don't need that. Now the way that we set this up is the linking for it will be this hip bone is already connected to the origin. Now we want to connect the IK of the arms and the two largest controls of the foot plus the origin. We connect all of that to the master. Now with that in place, I don't know if this has a skin on it or not. Let's see. Oh, it's already skinned, so. But if it wasn't, I'd have to put a skin on it. But what you want to do now, anyways, is once you have it all skinned up so that it's weighted, you want to be sure to save a copy out of the advanced parameters inside skin. Just make sure you save a copy. Go save, and then just save it wherever. You will need that envelope file for later, but now as it is, when you click on the origin, I clicked on the master, it all moves, but I wanted to click on the origin, so everything but the IK moves. And then you would just use that to animate properly, because you want the grid. All that the master is used for is, let's just say we're going to do an animation sequence. We would be using the control to slide the IK and that ahead, and then we would be selecting the, this is with the auto key on, of course, we would be selecting the, not the master, we'd be selecting the origin to move all of that. And then what it is, because the first step you want the origin to be centered at 0, 0, 0, what you do is you use the master to slide it all back so that origin sits at 0, 0, 0. And that's it. if you don't like IK on the arms, a lot of people don't, you just you can just come on in to this box here and just disable it, and then it won't affect the arm at all. Let's show you that by moving the origin again. That way that one arm on the other side still moves because it's still being affected by the IK, but the one arm there, I just pointed at it with my hand. This one arm here doesn't move because the IK is no longer affecting it. So that's the quick, well, not the quick, that's the hand animating rigging setup that you can use. Then you just export out, create your animations and export them out. That's it. So now what we want to do is create it so this here can work with the biped. So to do that, we'll just hide the mesh and hide the bones, hide the master, and this IK and those control points, you can delete those. And we'll save this as, we'll call it pre-biped. And so we don't need this IK anymore. We don't need the control point. We can't delete it right now because it's the one that's selected. Excuse me. It's the one that's selected as being the active layer. So click on a different one, and then that way you can actually delete it. So mesh, bones, and master. We want to now create a new layer, and we'll call this one biped. And with the biped in place, we will just create a biped. Come on into the create, the systems, and biped. Let's see what we got here. Leg links, spine links, 5. Yeah, oh, we don't need 5. Let's do 4. Don't need any fingers of that. That's all good. So we can just, if I drag it out, I'm pretty sure it's going to be facing that way. Yeah. Okay, so there's one dragged out. There's our biped. What we need to do though is with the biped, we'll come to the front viewport because it's facing that way. The biped 01 is this here, this little diamond in here. That is the main control point. That's basically the origin of the biped system. So anything you want to do as far as manipulating the positioning of the biped itself has to be done by moving that. But to move that, yeah, you could do it here. But as soon as you were to come in and try to actually apply, it just snaps back. So to make it so that it actually is permanent when you rotate it, you have to be working in figure mode. So you turn this one here on, and then that way when you rotate it around 90 degrees, it will actually stay there. So now what you want to do is just turn on the bones here, and want to be moving that biped in place so it lines up with the hips of the original. Come to the side view. You can see it's a little bit ahead, so we put that positioning there, and now with that start, you now just grab your move tools and start shaping the biped to move tools and scale tools and all that stuff, and start shaping your biped to look like the skeleton that you've already put into place. So you're doing that all inside the biped layer here, obviously. And what's good to do is when you're shaping the biped is to try to make it so that it actually fits the size of the mesh itself as best as possible. It'll just make collision issues later between the biped when you do animation that much easier to control. So that is that. We're now going to just drop out of this particular Is there anything else in this one I'd have to show you? No. We're just going to drop out of this particular one now and go into a monster biped that's already set up, and I'll show you the linking of it. Okay, here's the monster biped set up. Let's get the layers. We'll hide the mesh. We can leave all that. We'll hide the master for right now. And what you want to be doing is pretty simple. It's just now connecting the bones of the original system to the biped. So you're connecting this bone, the foot bone, to that bone of the biped, the heel to that bone of the biped, calf. This one comes up to that part of the biped, and now this biped piece itself, you have to also connect that to the hip, or the biped pelvis as it is, sorry. And again, same on this side, just bone to biped, bone to biped. Don't worry about the heel, just the piece of the bone that actually move. Whoops, I just connected that the wrong way. I want the bone to connect to the biped, not the biped connect to the bone. But we want this biped piece to be connected to the biped pelvis. And now take these two bone hips plus the hips bone, and that links up to the biped pelvis as well. Now just go up the line. This bone of the spine connects to that bone, bone spine to that bone, whoops, bone spine to that bone, that to that. This one connects to there. This one connects to, whoops, let's connect there to there. Nope, there to, don't be a bugger. Okay, connect you to you. Thank you. Connect you to you. There we are. And finally connect the bone head to the biped bone head. Now this one, we have to connect this one to there and this one to there. This one to that. This bone connects to that part. Hand bone to the biped hand, and the hand nub to the fingers nub. Same deal on this side. Just boom, boom. Connector up. And that one to the fingers, and that's it. Now what we want to do is the biped pelvis now connects to the origin. The origin connects, it's kind of tough to get at it, but the origin connects, so we're not going to use it. We're going to use this here to select it. Connects to the biped 01, and the biped 01 connects to the master. Okie doke. So looking at that, Q front viewport, hide that. So now if I move the origin, nothing should move. If I move the origin, nothing should move but the origin. If I move the master, everything will move. Okay, that's good. And what you want to do now, okay, so let's say this does not have a skin on it, which it does, but we're going to pretend it doesn't. And when I put the skin on, it might not work out properly because whatever. It might not be weighted all that well, but it'll work for the sake of this demonstration. Let's say there is no skin on this. Let's just say this out as 01 first. Say there is no skin on it. What you would be doing is you add a skin and come on up to add and add all the ones with BIP plus the origin, but take out the BIP01. And you add all those into the to the skin, and then we're going to edit the envelopes And with the origin, with the vertices turned on, like I did up here, I just clicked on the vertices here, and the origin selected, we are going to select all the vertices and assign it all to the origin. And now we will add all the ones that say bone plus the one called neck control and the one called hips. And with those we would now come on back to edit envelopes again, and you can now just start weighting them if you want, or you can come on over to the advanced parameters, and you've already saved out the envelope from the previous one where everything was linked up to the bones that were laid beneath, and we can just load it up, open, and match by name, and OK. And so now it would be weighted as per what it already was at, with nothing hooked up to any of the bipeds. The bipeds are in the chain, or in the hierarchy, but they're not actually influencing any of the vertices of the mesh itself. So now we can just come on in and select the little biped 01, which is not in the hierarchy chain of skin for the mesh itself, but it's the main part to drive the animations. And we will create some footsteps, throw 10 of them in there. Okay, and we will link up the biped to those footsteps, and we can hide everything except the mesh, show it this way, and walk it. And there you go. Okay, so there is a biped controlled mesh system that will work for Doom 3. Export it, dirt on export. We're just going to show you the situation that's going to occur with this one. We're going to export it. Whoops, haha. We will export it as my monster biped MD5 mesh. Sounds good. And yeah, we'll replace it. And initial sounds good. Yes. And once it's done, we're going to just pop into the Doom 3 folder where that is, so I can show you the situation that needs to be rectified and how I rectify it. Okay, let's just open biped 1. No. So there's all set, ready to go for the next. Well, actually, no, we won't be using this one. I'll use the rig for the next one. But first, we'll pop into the Doom 3 folder. And Doom 3 folder, base models, MD5, monsters, my monster biped. What's happened is, don't need that, is you can see the names of the biped have spaces in them, and the names of the biped with the L has spaces in them and stuff like that. So what we want to do, I'm not going to do it in this one because it's too big of a file, it'll take a little longer. This one's a little quicker. Still has to be done with both of them. What I do is, well, it would have to be done with any MD5 anim or any MD5 mesh that you create using the biped system. What I do is just go Control H, open this up, and type in BIP01 space and replace it with BIP01, replace all. And then I go BIP right space with BIP right, replace all, and then BIP L space, replace with BIP L, replace all. There you go. Now there's no spaces in those names, and it will work properly with Doom 3. Yeah, we can save it. So there you go. There's the rigging for Doom 3 using biped, and the rigging for Doom 3 using a standard custom rig. Already have the AFs in place, so that'll be included in this tutorial download. So the articulated figure for the rigging and the articulated figure for a biped rigging. There is a couple more things I want to show you. First one, actually, let's go back to that biped rig. Next, what I want to show you is if you want to use a if you want to use a BVH file to create a biped animation, you have to first create a biped itself and apply a BVH file to that biped using the motion capture system. BVH files are really easy to find online. The reason you want to apply it to a blank biped first is a BVH file will rescale and resize and do all kinds of weird things to your custom shaped biped. So once you've resized it and made it look like the bone or the mesh of the monster, if you go stick a BVH straight onto it, it's going to slap it back into the standard biped format, I should say, biped look. So we want to apply a BVH to this one, so make sure the biped 01 is selected. Open up a BVH file, and we'll take this double punch one, and we want the, can't see it all, but there's just basically an OK button down there. So we want to go OK. We'll turn on some key reduction, sure. And we want to flatten the footsteps to Z, and we'll just go OK. And with that done, come into the perspective view, and now he's got himself a punching animation. Doink. You can see. Punch, punch. Okay. So we want to save that now as a double punch or two punch BIP. Sure. Yes. And then we can open up our biped and select on the biped itself and apply the biped that we just did, the two punch biped. And it's facing this way, so you'd have to flip it around just using the master, or use the master and just turn it so it faces the proper way. Or you could do it with the origin as well, but the master will turn everything. We'll just go into this viewport, front view. With that, we can turn off, hide all this stuff so you can see the mesh. Little funky up in the arms, but it's okay for this one. And just away he goes. And yeah, I need some work. You can see his hand come inside, but there you go. That's how tough it was to make it. But something else I'm going to show you here is this. That's setting up a biped. Now you can just export it as normal. I'm just going to open up this rig one again. No, but that's not what I wanted to show you. We're going to come back to my desktop and open up this cool little program called BV Hacker, which is really cool. Can't see it all because it's doesn't fit on this 800 by 600 screen resolution. Well, let's open up a BVH. My documents 3D Max, and that'll be in import, I believe. Yeah, double punch right there. It opens it up, and using this you can just select your different joints, and if there's a positioning that you don't like, and it's where the hand goes into the chest, for example, in the claw monster, you can just adjust that in here, and it and then you can save them out, and you can also crop the frames. That's I can't share that because it's down below here, but you can crop the frames and all that kind of stuff. It's like a virtual dub for BVH files. So it's called BV Hacker, Dave Dub's BV Hacker, and it's free. And just grab it; it's pretty cool. And virtual dub is a cool program too for quick video edits. Not that it matters, but this is an example. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is heads for these monsters, because this guy doesn't have a head. So we're going to select the mesh. We can freeze it, and we'll come to a top viewport. And top viewport, I'm going to bones. Let's just create a new layer, and I'll call this new layer head. And I will come up to create tool, standard primitives, and just pull down scripted primitives and make a head. And then I'll come on back to the front viewport and move that on up and turn that around so he faces the proper way. Alt Q, kind of move it into place, and obviously scale it a bit. Looks a little better. And I'm not going to go through texturing and all that, you guys. If you're at this stage, you know how to do normal maps and all, so there's no reason for me to waste your time or file download doing it. But this is kind of cool, so I'm going to show you this, and then just put this in place. It's not important. We're going to I just left this here for the sake of the sizing. I'm going to turn off this mesh now, and I'm going to click on a bunch of this, delete it. Click on this, but I want to keep this. I can delete that. Delete that. What do we got here? What bone is that? Delete. Delete and delete. So now the bones should just be head nub, head control, and origin. And I'll F4 so it's back like that. And this doesn't have to sit up there. You can now select this, and I don't need the mesh one anymore. Delete. And I can just select that and move that down to wherever. It's not important. All that you do now is connect the neck control to the origin, and the head here, you just pretend it's textured and all that kind of stuff. You will just slap on a skin on that, and add the bones. No, sorry, we'll make that edit mesh first, and then slap on a skin, and then add the bones, all of them. And lots of and does, huh? I say that often. Coming up to with the vertices and edit on, we're going to select the bone head, and everything will get weighted to the bone head, except for this one little bit down here. And you want to do the same with the body mesh too, is make sure part of it's connected to the neck control, just so that it looks a little better. I'll give it half of that, so it looks a little better when the head and the body get put together, and there's some animation going on. It doesn't create breaks between the two. So with that, I can now just, I'm going to save this as my monster head, and I would collapse to here. And now I can just export using Dirton, export as a head to heads. I'm going to make it as the number 1, yes, and initial, yes. And that's it. Now you have a head that you can work with. Of course, you have to set the texture and all that kind of stuff, but again, you should know how to do that if you're looking at these tutorials, or this tutorial. So that's one head. So now what I would do is come on back to open recent monster head. No, I don't want to save the changes because I want to now come on back to face maker, and I'm going to, let's turn on so you can see some coloring. I'm going to make him a little rounder, and let's move his brow up and jaw. There we go. Looks pretty good. Neck, oh boy, give him a big neck. Double chin, sure. Make him kind of skinny that way. Eyes, let's make them really big. So there you go. And now you can just come up to this one, collapse to that again, and boom, Dirton export. Export another head, and so that'd be monster head 2. Do you want to place it? Yes, just because I have one in there. Initial, you can do this one or not, doesn't matter, because initial is just a static pose. You can animate these bones, by the way, and so you can have independent animations of the head, and you can also animate the bone head of the monster itself, and it'll also make this move. So you can have this head doing one type of motion, this bone doing one type of motion, and the other bone doing another one. It'll combine those motions when you combine the head and the monster. So we'll save that, yes, and that's pretty much it. And all you would do is, we'll go back into the Doom 3 folder, just inside the def file. You got your monster biped. First you have the monster heads def, so here's the heads. There's referencing the mesh. There's the animations, the initial. So obviously you can set different animations for these. And for the monster biped, all that you have to do is, this is the main one. Down here you got the def head. You can just type in head, my monster head 01, and it'll have the monster head attached at the neck control. You can also obviously do this in the editor itself, just with the head. Use the key and value of head, and then head my monster head 01. And then if you want to make another monster with the other head, yeah, and just have it inheriting this one, so everything else is the same, just a different head. In here you can do it just by creating a new entity def and call it biped2, and it inherits everything that is part of monster biped. It inherits everything except you can say to give it the other head, head my monster, well, you know what it's supposed to say, head 02. So pretend that is spelled all properly, and it'll look like that if you pretend that it's spelled all properly. And there you go, you got yourself another monster that you go into the editor, and it'll have the other head, and just drop it into place. That's it. You got yourself your punches, you got yourself your kicks, and you can set up more than one fight. Obviously, you got here attack melee attack 1. That can just be attack melee attack, I should say, or melee attack if you're just using 1. But if you want to set 2 or more, so that the system chooses which one it's going to use when it comes up when you're coming to attack, you can set 1, 2, 3, set as many as you want. Same as drop death. It's not doing it for this one. I'll show you on this one. If you want it so that when it drops stuff when it dies, you can set up to 99 items, and then when it dies, it'll drop stuff from certain joints, whatever joint you set it at. And here you can set a skin drop death. So like I did when I made the Bubble Lego Tep mod, is the drop death just made all the material of the model itself turn invisible, and then I just had all the different movable Lego pieces fall from the respective joints, so it looked like it blew apart. And you can have up to 99 items, maybe more, but I know it can go up to 99. So yeah, that's the monsters, and that's attaching heads, and that's creating heads, and we're not quite done yet because there's one other cool little tool that I want you to see that is really awesome. I'll just reset, yes, and I'll come to this one. I'm just going to drag out another head, and this is a free plugin that's available online as well, called FaceMaker. It was written in like 2004. I found it like 2 days ago. But I'll include it with this tutorial download maybe. Maybe I should, because it's not mine, so no, I won't. You have to go find it, FaceMaker 01. But that's not what I want to show you. What I want to show you is turning it into an edit poly. See, that's really cool, isn't it? But yeah, we're going to turn on these lines. And another cool, and this is like really hot stuff, you guys have to grab, you ladies and you guys have to grab this one. It's called Illusion Catalyst, and it's lets you draw just like it's a paper and pen, and you want to put some new cuts in. Let's say, even for that, I don't even have to draw. I just have to like hold down a shift key and go across, and it'll automatically put a new edge loop in. Did you see that? Watch. Doink, put a new edge loop in. But if I don't hold down the shift key, I can like draw my own in, and it's like literally it's just drawing. If you hold down the control, it'll snap to the middle of those particular edges. It's an amazing tool. It's amazing, and it's as free as 3D Max. Well, 3D Max is 30-day version, of course, but yeah, that's it. You just draw your stuff in, and you can erase the same way. You don't like something, just erase it. Oh, and it's like it's like having ZBrush right inside your 3D Max program. There are certain limitations, like it always works on the bottom editable poly layer, so it'd be kind of cool if you could, if the designer net makes it so it'd be a stackable plugin, but for what it is, it's like friggin' awesome. And also with this head plugin, so yeah, anyways, illusioncatalyst.com, get it, it's free. Excellent program. Reset, no, yes. Also with this head program, I just wanted to, one last little thing, and then this tutorial's done. We'll drag out another head. I just want to point out that you can come on in. You can come on in at like an editable poly and or whatever, and you can do that, and you can still come down here after and still do stuff. So make a really cool giant head for some alien creature or something. Hey, well, that almost looks like it could be a funky hat right off the bat. So there you go. There's Facemaker, Illusion Catalyst, rigging for Doom 3, heads for swappable monster heads, and I'm sure there's a couple other things in there. So there you go. Hope you guys have fun, and ladies have fun, sorry. I hope everyone has fun with this information, and I get to see some cool mods too, because it's a drag that people can't figure out monsters. Hopefully this helps, and look forward to some stuff. Bye-bye.